Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. Hello, and Bert, the Dividend Diplomats. It's Sunday morning. We are pumped up. We're going to talk to you about a fun top 5 list video. But it's not just one top 5 list, Lanny. It's going to be 2 top 5 lists. We're going to talk to you about the current top 5 yielding Dividend Kings and the top 5 current yielding Dividend Aristocrats.
The King of Kings. Guys, smash that subscribe button. Give us a nice thumbs up. We've got 10 freaking stocks here to talk about. 10 stocks that have all increased dividends for at least 25 plus years. Dividend Kings to be one. If you remember, guys, you have to have at least 50 years of consecutive dividend increases. That means there's not 1 year out of those 50 years where you have paused an increase. And then to be a dividend aristocrat takes 25 plus years. So we're getting into some jam-packed, action-packed, high-yielding, wheeling, dealing, girls stealing, high-flying, rolling out, Ric Flair, woo, and here we go.
All right, so let's do this. Let's start with the aristocrats, because let's work our way up to the longest consecutive dividend increases here. So we're going to share with you each one of the companies. We're going to go in reverse order, the number 5 through the number 1. We can talk to you about their yield, how many years they've increased the dividend, and what are the current 5-year average dividend growths for each company, because it's not just about yield. It's about yield and growing your dividend. We're always looking for that perfect balance between the yield and the dividend growth. What I'm most excited about, Laney, is obviously not just revealed the top 5 for each to see how many we own, but also are there certain trends for industries too that we're going to notice as we're going through this list.
Bert, man, I tell you what, these 5 aristocrats do you want to work our way from the bottom yielding aristocrat out of the top 5 yielding aristocrats and work our way up? All right, that sounds great. So this, there's going to be a couple names here where maybe you're not too familiar with. I could see a couple being the case here, but I think for the majority of the stocks, you'll know.
Yeah.
But Bert, is this first one a REIT?
It is a REIT.
Okay.
Property Trust, ticker symbol ESS. And the reason I know that, Lanny, remember like 3 months ago, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna buy a bunch of REITs, and then I didn't buy any REITs after that because I'm like, actually no, I bought American Towers. That's the only one we bought in my wife's portfolio. So we're building that position. ESS is one of the few dividend aristocrats in the REIT sector, joined by, we don't want to spoil it, but you guys probably know who the other one that's going to be an aristocrat is. Their yield is 4%. They've increased the dividend for 28 consecutive years. Their 5-year dividend growth rate is 4.62%. So not a bad yield and dividend growth combination.
Very, very conservative. It's a two-handed punch, over 4% yield, over 4% growth rate. Adrian, you know what you're going to get. But man, Bert, let's get into the dividend aristocrat. I think many people were buying over the last 12 to 18 months because they have been hovering exactly between $100 and $110 a share. I feel like for forever right now. And it all is tied to the stock market and asset values. And asset values have been down. And so is this stock, Bert. Let me hear it, brother.
T. Rowe Price, ticker symbol, my favorite, T. Rowe, TROW. Absolutely right. Their yield is up to 4.63%, especially now they're hanging out in that low hundreds range. Increase that dividend for 36 consecutive years with a 5-year dividend growth rate of 14.87%. But as you and I know, Andy, that last dividend increase was not anywhere close to that 14%. It was a much lower for obvious reasons based on the performance. Womp womp.
Yeah, but hey, that's okay. That's okay because everything is cyclical. Asset values will return, so will T. Rowe Price. What about his good friend? Not talking about Abraham Lincoln or Andrew Jackson. We're talking about Benjamin Franklin over at Franklin Resources, ticker symbol BEN. That is in the 3rd spot here on the aristocrat list, guys. We're almost entering the 5% territory with this aristocrat, increasing dividends for over 26 years, yielding over 4.9%. And Bert, the dividend growth rate might not be as high as T. Rowe's historical, but what is that growth rate?
6.53%. You're absolutely right. But guess what? This year, their growth rates are probably going to be about the same. And you're picking it up a little bit on the yield, about almost 0.3% on the yield there for Ben. So it's nice. 2 asset managers have cracked the top 5 lately. So let's see who's number 2 on this list. Everyone's favorite in the dividend growth investing community, Realty Income, ticker symbol O, the monthly dividend paying company. They have a yield that's just north of 5%. They're finally back over 5% from the dividend yield perspective, 5.05%. They recently became a dividend aristocrat. They've increased for 26 years. Their 5-year dividend growth rate is 3.76%. But really, we should probably be calling this the 60-month average dividend growth rate, because it feels like this company is always increasing their dividend every single month. Kidding, every quarter.
Hey, there's not much to say about the GOAT. One of the GOATs of the aristocrat REIT, Realty Income. They just kind of do one of these.
Yeah.
Move along. Nothing else to see here, guys. But getting into number one, let's get into that first top stock on the Dividend Aristocrat list here. A very interesting stock that's gone through a spinoff and trying to reshape their business. Bert, you might have to do the honors here.
I would not say this one is the GOAT of its industry. If anything, it is the anti-GOAT of this industry. It's IBM, ticker symbol IBM. With their terrible performance of late, their yield is now 5.28%, which is probably the main reason why dividend investors continue to hang on to them. They have that 5% yield. They've increased for 26 years. Like Realty Income, they are a recently crowned dividend aristocrat. Their 5-year dividend growth rate has been pathetic. It's 2.66%, and I don't even think they've hit that in the last 3 years. Combined, maybe it hasn't even been 2.66%.
You're not wrong. No, they've been doing a little bit of a half cent, 1 cent. Who gives it?
Pretty much. So they're the number one spot. Let's summarize here again. At number 5, Essex Property. Number 4, T. Rowe Price. Number 3, Franklin Resources. 2, Realty Income. Number 1, IBM. So that's 2 REITs, 2 asset management companies, and 1 tech stock in the Dividend Aristocrat top 5. Let's see, once you stretch out the dividend history to 50 plus years, let's see if there's a different kind of industry allocation. Lan, you want to hit us with the number 5 spot for the Dividend Kings?
All right, I'll take it. But Bert, I know this one's in your portfolio.
I'm taking this one back. I should probably do this one because we've been building a position in my wife's portfolio, Stanley Black & Decker, ticker symbol SWK. Nothing more to say. They've been beaten down. Their yield's at 3.91%, but they've increased that dividend for 55 consecutive years. The 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.25%.
Solid.
Yeah. Stupendous.
Yeah, solid. Now, to get into that 4th stock, guys, let's climb the ladder. Let's get onto that rung because we're going for the belt that's hanging above the ring. Northwestern Natural, ticker symbol NWN. Is this a utility, Bert? Or
it is. It's a gas utility up in the Pacific Northwest. And that's the cool thing about Dividend Kings. There are a lot of names that sneak into the dividend kingdom that you just don't recognize because they don't have the large market cap requirements that you see with them. It can just be 50 plus years. The reason why it hasn't popped up on our watch list is so they have a 4.32% yield. They've increased their dividend for 66 years. You'd be like, Jinkies, why isn't this stock in the Dividend Diplomats dividend stock portfolio? I'll tell you why, Jack. They only have a 0.52% 5-year dividend growth rate. So the dividend growth has been pathetic for this company.
Pulling a page out of Emerson's book. I dig it. So that was number 4, Northwestern Natural. Let us know if you guys own this stock. I'd be really curious for the shareholders out there. Let's get into the 3rd dividend king on this list. Some may have heard of this company, Federal Realty Investment Trust, ticker symbol FRT. Bert, you don't own them, do you?
No, we've looked at them, and I always ended up just looking at Realty Income instead. Even though they're a dividend king, I mean, their yield is 4.78%. They've increased for 55 years, so they got them beat on the they don't have beat on the yield front. They haven't beat on the year street, but in their 5-year dividend growth rate hasn't been great either. It's only 1.62%. So when I look at those two combined, I have a very hard time picking the Dividend King over the GOAT aristocrat of Realty Income.
But again, yeah, another REIT, the 3rd REIT that we've talked about out of 10 total stocks here on today's video. Let's get into the 2nd dividend king, guys. The 2nd king, the king of kings, what they sometimes would say about this stock occasionally, but probably the last 5 years, not so much, especially with all of the earplug lawsuits and the potential billions of dollars of losses that this company may face. In fact, guys, at the timing of this recording of this video, they are still under $100 per share, trading at $99.64. We are talking about 3M, ticker symbol The three M's. More like F me.
Pretty much. I have nothing more to really say. Their yield's almost at 6% now. That's below 100. It's at 5.99%. Probably is
You
just.
got a share on 100, didn't you?
I did. I said I'd grab one share under 100. I think I actually grabbed two over the last few weeks because it's just staring at unrealized loss. Average cost base is higher. This isn't going to move the needle that much with the average cost basis, but 3M under 100, I got to at least partake a little bit in that one. Their 5-year dividend growth rate's 3.36%. But again, going through hard times, we're not expecting much on the dividend growth front.
Hey, at 3M, I might have to, get a share here at some point under 100. Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah. So number one, Lanny, I'm going to kick this one back to you. We just talked about this on our channel, didn't we? We just talked about them. Well, Annie, who is number one on this list?
Guys, we're talking about the big tobacco over here. We're talking Altria Group. Ticker symbol is MO. Yes, the tobacco player here in the United States. We're looking at Marlboro as the main vein here. Do they do Skull or Grizzly?
Oh, I can't remember.
I think it's Skull. We're gonna go with Skull.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't purchase the product, so that doesn't go. Well, yeah, we'll go with Skull, but you know what we'll tell them? They are the highest yielding dividend king and the number one on this list by a long shot. Their yield is 8.29%, well above what 3M's yield is.
Yeah, and what's nice is, again, over 53 years of increasing it. And guys, this one has probably one of the better dividend growth rates here on today's video. Still, as of right now, over 7% of growth rate on growing that dividend at that absorbent yield. So you're getting a high yield and a potentially high dividend growth rate. Very interesting. Definitely catch the video from earlier this week on the three big tobacco stocks.
Get out your baseball mitt and make sure you catch that one because you don't want to miss it. So let's go through the top 5 kings: Stanley Black & Decker, Northwestern Natural, Federal Realty Investment Trust, 3M, Altria Group. So again, guys, we have 10 the highest yielding Dividend Aristocrats and Dividend Kings. We'll put the 2 charts up here so we can see them. We're not going to read them off to you once again. Let us know how many you own. Lanny, going through this list, how many of these stocks do you own?
4, 3M, IBM, Realty Income, and T. Rowe Price. What about you?
5, 3M, Stanley Black & Decker, IBM, Realty Income, and T. Rowe Price. But no one cares about us. How many do you own? You, the viewers. Yeah, we're talking about you, and you. How many of these 10 stocks do you own from this list today?
Guys, keep saving, keep investing, take steps towards financial freedom. Let us know what your favorite Dividend Aristocrat or Dividend King are. Definitely subscribe to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Or any other parting words for the community.
If you're not with us, you're against us.
That was Bert and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.